and my safety as well, so if that's okay with you. Thank you for inviting me to your celebration, my celebration of Black History Month. And I've gotten a little bit older, so I have to wear glasses these days. For years, I didn't wear glasses. I'm honored to be the guest speaker and to personally thank Ms. Evans, and also I want to acknowledge Dr. Hall for having me on this beautiful campus. As we celebrate the achievements of African Americans and recognize their roles in history, we give thanks to Carter G. Wilson, who in 1966 came up with the idea of Black History Month, and then Black History Week, and then that was such a big hit with folks wanting to hear more and more about Black history that President Gerald Ford in 1976 realized that the many accomplishments of African Americans had gone unrecognized, and he declared an annual month in February for Black History Month. But Carter Woodson recognized the struggles and the extraordinary achievements of African Americans in spite of tragedy and setbacks. But they left behind rich history that we should all remember. There are centuries of Black history reflecting freedom, civil rights, arts and culture, inventions, and other achievements that have never been shared. And I would encourage you, if you're ever in Washington, D.C., to visit the National Museum of African American History, Art, and Cultures. It's a $540 million building, and it took 4 years to build that history, art, and culture facility. Black history is more than just names of famous people, but stories day by day of mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, uncles who raised families. People sitting on the back of the bus, like Rosa Parks, who refused to give up her seat to a Caucasian man, even though she was in the designated area that said colored only or African American only. Students who were prevented from going to college or a school for a quality education because of their race. Their testimonies and experiences are our testimonies. Graniteville, where you sit right now, is a town rich in African American history. And I would like to challenge you to identify 3 to 4 people, African Americans, in Graniteville that contributed to great history. You have the Graniteville Mill, Freedman School, recreational facilities, Bettis Academy, all phenomenal stories and of Black experiences. But let me mention someone that I have long admired that grew up here in Graniteville. That person is Dr. Abel Nivens, who had a deep passion for teaching and educating children. She taught for 50 years and challenged students' civility at every turn. Upon retiring, she took over the Minnie Palmore House in Graniteville, a school that her mother founded, because she believed that you must form studying habits early, discipline, along with childhood development. 3 of our 5 sons, the school was so great, even though we lived in Aiken, 3 of our 5 sons attended Minnie Palmore House because we knew the successes she was having with other children. One currently is a lawyer, has bar license in Georgia and South Carolina, now getting ready to take one in New Jersey. One is in cybersecurity, and the younger son owns his own business. None of our children followed the career that I have, nor my husband. You are surrounded by teachers and administrators and staff who only want the best for you, your parents and grandparents and cousins and uncles who are cheering you on with every successes that you make, no matter how small. The ball is in your court. Do you pass it down the field or sit on the sidelines and watch the play? Don't wait until you're a senior in high school and start planning. The question is, do you believe that you are capable of achieving whatever you want in life? And I challenge you to explore. I challenge you to dream. Be creative and innovative. You can't do this with simple things like through arts and science and mathematics and literacy and technology. You can make an impact on your life and someone else's. Every experience you have leads to another experience and another experience. For example, there's a young woman by the name of Kimberly Bryant. She's a Vanderbilt University graduate in electrical engineering, African American, and she is also the founder and CEO of a nonprofit that she founded 10 years ago on her own, called Black Girls Code. This is for girls ages 6 to 17 years old, focusing on teaching computer programming and technology. She is doing something that gives her passion and makes others successful. She is an innovator and her own boss. This was her goal. Goal setting begins right now. It begins early, where you are now. And I encourage you to set small goals and write them down. If you fail, figure out what you did wrong and move forward. Don't stop. And that's what I'm going to discuss with you. Move forward, don't stop. Dream and move forward. You'll hear that the rest of my comments. Believe in your dreams as you move forward and don't stop. When you live your dream, you don't go looking for opportunities. Guess what? Opportunities come to you. When you live your dream, you don't worry about looking for acceptance from others. Others will give you a nod of approval and reward you for your successes. Never be afraid to go after what you want in life. Keep asking yourself, what kind of life do I want to live? What do I really want out of life? But first, you've got to believe in yourself. When no one else believes you can do something, keep moving forward. Don't stop. Convince yourself that you are somebody and you can change the world. Achieving your goals requires staying focused and being motivated. Don't just wish you could do something, make it happen. Keep moving. Don't stop. You don't need your friends or family members to live your dreams for you. You need their encouragement, yes, and their support. I don't know if you've heard of Dr. Mae Jemison, a beautiful, talented, and confident young woman who is an astronaut. She's all these things, an astronaut, she's a physician, she's a scientist. She knew at an early age that she wanted to become a chemical engineer and wanted to go to the moon. Guess what? She did it. She graduated from high school at 16 years old, enrolled in Stanford University when it was not popular for a little African American girl to go to such a prestigious university. And the rest is history. She spends time going across the country telling people her story about the beauty of science and research as a career. And she is in high demand, all because she saw herself in the field she pursued. She is brilliant and exciting to listen to. Her secret, if you have a dream and determination, move forward. Don't stop. There's a young lady that I met early on as a child. Margaret Olivia got a driver's license early. And so her parents said, okay, we'll let you drive some. Margaret Olivia started driving. One day they went on a trip and they ran into some terrible weather as she was driving. And she panicked and said, let's stop at this gas station until this storm passes. Parents said, no, go on, Margaret Olivia. She still was nervous. I'm going to stop. I'm not going to drive on. The dad said, Margaret Olivia, continue. She kept driving but kept complaining. 5 miles down the road. The most beautiful sunshine you can see. The lesson learned. Keep moving, don't stop. It's clear skies, as pretty as you can have it. That story was told by her dad. Stop waiting on someone to tell you what to do every step of the way. Use your imagination and your creativity. We all have a brain. You have a brain. Act, choose, lead, because you are in control of your actions. When your friends ask you about why are you always studying and why aren't you responding to my texts, your reply should be, I got work to do. I'm about to become somebody, so I need to keep moving. When they ask you about going out, they keep bugging you, you say, just wait, I'm about to be somebody. Just watch me. When they call you and say that you are boring and use other words to you, just put them on warning again. I'm about to become somebody. I gotta keep moving. Again, dream big, move forward, don't stop, because you are in control of your actions. Nobody else can control what you do except you and what you do. If you have problems, believe me, there are people around here that will help you along the way. Force yourself, push yourself. You are an achiever. It all requires time and work. What we're all bad at is procrastination. And we get stuck in a comfort zone doing nothing. But I encourage you, keep moving. You have to be bold, like in your face. If you believe in yourself and who you are, nothing can stop you. Don't hesitate to do something different, because your mom and your dad pursued their passion. They are not expecting you to do the same thing. Your teachers are doing their part to prepare you for the next level. And whether you like it or not, you're getting older. I guess you say, how can I be getting older? Believe me, every day, every minute, every birthday, every grade, you're headed towards graduation. Time will vanish so quickly when you get to the 9th grade. And before you know it, you're planning for graduation and making decisions on a college or university, the military, a technical college, apprenticeship programs, or vocational skills. But you know where you are headed as a next step upon getting that high school diploma. Your teachers, guess what? Your teachers and your principals will be watching. They want to read about you and learn of your successes in the media and from others, because your successes are their successes. You have made yourself based on what you've done in your grades, competitive for scholarships based on grades to reduce expenses on your family and avoid repayment of a large college debt. You may want to start your own business or work with a family business, but make enough money to pay for your own car and take care of your expenses. A little bit about me. I grew up on a farm, Blackville, South Carolina, with my parents, who had 10 children, 5 girls, 5 boys. My great-great-grandfather, Alexander Brooker, was born into slavery. But at the age of 10, he was emancipated. My grandfather, Foster Brooker, owned a farm, almost 400 acres of land. And his children and my father, we tended the farm. My father did a lot of work on that farm with a mule and a plow. And our greatest crop was cotton. And I brought a photograph here to show you my father. And this was taken at Hopeless Garden. My father, we worked so hard on the farm that my father moved to Aiken for a better way of life for his children. But what did we do? We moved on somebody else's farm initially when we came to Aiken. But later he became a sanitation worker for the city of Aiken. And then later moved to Hopeland's Garden. And I don't know whether you've toured Hopeland's Gardens or not. It's a beautiful garden. on about 12 acres of land. But he took that assignment with pride. He was the head caretaker of that garden and died later after working that assignment. Our main crop on the farm was cotton, though we had peanuts and cantaloupes and watermelon and so forth. And with that crop, later my father managed to purchase a tractor, which helped some. The interesting thing about it, though, is my great-great-grandfather attended school here in Graniteville. He lived in Blackville, but attended the Bettis Academy School and graduated from there. We did not have a lot. As a matter of fact, I grew up using an outdoor toilet. And we shared our clothing. And you cannot imagine when we moved into a house with indoor plumbing, how excited we were. But there were 12 people, my sisters and brothers and myself and my father and mother, trying to use the indoor facilities. That was always a challenge. My father wanted a better life for his family, so that's why we moved, as I said, on this plantation. My dad's philosophy was that wherever you work, you should give an honest day's work for an honest day's pay. And his goal for his children, myself and my brothers and sisters, was to just graduate from high school and get a job. But when I graduated, I was 16 years old, and nobody was hiring 16 years old at the time. And so with the help of 3 ministers who were my champions, they managed to get me into Allen University on a work-study scholarship. So I worked part-time, went to school full-time. And in going to school, before entering school, my goal was to become an actress or get a law degree. Well, I had seen Elizabeth Taylor on TV and liked her acting skills. And I had admired Congresswoman Barbara Jordan and her oratorical skills. So having seen them as examples, those were the career choices that I made. But the only problem is I had no acting skills, no drama skills, nor did I have the grades to become a lawyer. So where does that place me as not a competitive person for either career with my 2 goals that I had in mind? I later, after attending Allen University, I later dropped out of college, got married, and went to work with DuPont. My father-in-law worked at DuPont. And I became a mail clerk at DuPont, returned to school at USC Aiken. This was during segregation, so a lot was happening at DuPont during segregation. I started out, as I said, in an entry-level job as a mail clerk. As time went on, I managed to get recommended for a professional job. And the person that recommended me for this professional job was the plant manager of the company, Mr. Monier. I had no idea why he would recommend me for this position, but he had observed my work performance as a mail clerk and recommended me. Now here's one thing, no matter how menial your job is, you never know who's watching you. And this was in the personnel department. The person that was over the personnel department did not want me as a candidate for the position. So he pushed back to the plant manager. Now that the plant manager is going to, his decision is going to stand. Upon entering, this manager gave me no slack at all. He was firm, he was stern. Nor did I want any from him. The end result is he ended up giving me, I exceeded his expectations, gave me the best raises, the best promotions, and he ended up being a key mentor of mine. I have many years of prior experience at Savannah Riverside, but I currently serve as manager of governmental affairs and community relations for Amentum Nuclear and Environment, and we own a contract at Savannah Riverside. I also became more involved in my community, and in 1975, ran for an at-large position for the Aiken City Council, becoming the first female to run for a public office in the city of Aiken's history. I lost that election, and that's another story, that's another speech. I lost that election and said never again. And I wasn't a whole lot younger than you. I was in my early 20s when I ran for public office for the first time. 12 years later, other females ran after I lost that election, but was unsuccessful. 12 years later, I'd gotten involved more politically with other politicians in their races. I decided to run again for again a citywide election. I had a very formidable opponent who was tough and had excellent credentials. I wasn't optimistic about my winning that race, but I had hope. But what gave me more hope was when the governor of South Carolina came to Aiken, South Carolina to knock on a few doors with me. And the reason that he did that was because I worked in his campaign and chaired his campaign for Aiken County for governor. So he came to return the favor. In 1987, I became the first female elected to Aiken City Council in the city's entire history. And I have served in that post, still serving, for 34 years, and I am currently Mayor Pro Tem of Aiken. We have a great mayor and a great city council. I've ran for mayor twice, and I've lost both elections. I was educated in a segregated school system, but after working for the interests of the public good and believe that none of us are as smart as all of us, I've carried that with me all along. I leave you with this. As we celebrate Black History Month and the accomplishments by African Americans in every endeavor throughout history, we become aware of the development and shaping of American history and the struggles for many as they shape their journey. President Obama said, change will not come if we wait for some other time to get it done. We are the ones. We've been waiting for you. You are the change that we see. My quote is, every life comes with a story. I just gave you a story. You have a story. And I've grown up in the world where dreams seem impossible, but always probable. I believe in having a vision of what you want to do and never stop striving for the things you want in life. Believe in the impossible and have faith in your unique abilities. Dreams can come true. And while you are traveling that ladder of success, you're climbing up one success after another, reach back and pull and take someone with you. As you move forward, don't stop. And the last quote, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, keep moving forward. I say to you, dream, keep moving, and don't stop. Thank you so much for listening to me. Now I will take questions from you.